Now, you'd win the Intercontinental title from Chris Jericho at your first singles title.
Right.
What did that mean to you?
That's when in my head, I was officially overachieving. I've said this before. I didn't expect to be working that night, and I know leading up to the pay per view, there was a nice build up for me. They were giving me some momentum. I remember I had a promo with Mr. McMahon where I basically told him, he gave me his blessing. I was like, well, I don't need your blessing. I need their blessing because it's voting. And the truth is, to me, my match with Jericho was the only match on that card that truly was up in the air because Chris had no idea who he was going to wrestle that night. They refused to tell him. Everyone else that had a match, it was some sort of gimmick match. So you knew who you were working with, and you knew there were these type of gimmicks or these type of stipulations. But in the case of in the case of Chris Jericho, he only knew that you got to wrestle one of 15 guys. And again, I always thought it was going to be Batista. And when I won, you watched the announcement. I wasn't paying attention because I was just like, "Oh, it's going to be Batista," and they said my name, so there's a delayed reaction from me. So I had the fake excitement, but I was like, "Oh shit, I got to wrestle!" Like, so it's actually good. They made us stay in gear all day, and like when they did the reveal, so I went straight to the ring, and I had no idea I was going to win until Chris Jericho didn't kick out. The only thing that was said to me going into that match was when Jericho locked up to me and he said, "What's your finish?" And I said, "T-bone." And that took, that little exchange was like the blink of an eye, and then we just had the match. And I just listened to Jericho.
Wow.
And no conversation prior to inside the ring. Unreal.
No. So before early that day, Chris had been trying to get an idea of who he was going to work, and they wouldn't give him any information. He's like, "Well, who's the leading?" So he's going around to everyone kind of going, "Okay, if I do this and this, trying to get a template." And he came to me, he's like, "Shelton, do you know when I do this?" And I said, "Hey, I'll stop you right there. I know all of your stuff." He's like, "Okay, thank you. I knew I didn't have to worry about you." So then he went on, and that was all of the conversation we had before that match.
And you know what? You guys pulled it off, and you won the title.
Yeah, it was a really good match too, man. Wow.
Yeah, it was. Man, it was so much. It was really good, but it was like, I was just listening. Like I said, when you're in there with some of the greatest talent ever. Like my first few years, like the guys that I got to work with and the stuff they were teaching me, like. You have to be in there with them to really understand one how to work, not how to do moves, how to look cool, but how to work. And between my matches with Jericho, with Hunter, with HBK, with Benoit, with Taker, like matches that I expected to be really, really hard from a mental standpoint. They make these matches so incredibly easy, at least for me, from an athletic standpoint. Like it was like, okay, just they're playing a video game. Tell me what you need me to do, and I'll do it. Bing, 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 bing.